Okay. All right. So I am really excited about this morning. And I think a lot of our activities that we have stemmed from, or that we have planned for this morning, stems from Carrie, who's going to be sharing her story. I love Carrie's story. Not only like health changes being beautiful, but just the inspiration, I think, and the belief that comes from her business story is huge. And I think it's incredibly inspiring for us as people who are doing the business, for those of us that get frustrated that our points aren't where we want them to be, or where we really believe in somebody and they've shown a little bit of interest in wanting to do the business. Maybe they might, do a post, or they might do a training, or they might show a little bit of interest, and then they kind of like give you crickets. They kind of ghost you. And then you start to feel discouraged. You start to feel frustrated. I was listening to the podcast that I shared this morning in our Gold Diggers thread about the Bob Heilig. And he was talking about how you really just need 3 to 5 people who catch the vision like you. You just need 3 to 5 people, and you don't need somebody to be 100% at the same level as you. You need somebody that's like at 75%, somebody that's doing the business, that's caught the vision, that's coachable, that's teachable. But I love that of, you don't need a bazillion people to be successful here. You just need a few people that have caught the vision and are willing and are teachable. And so today, this morning, one of my dearest friends, Carrie, you guys all know her. Her story is amazing. Not only her health, but her financial, her business, all of the things with Carrie Compton are huge. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to her. She's going to share a little bit about her business story. And then if you guys have questions, feel free to ask at the end.
Hey guys. First of all, thank you for letting me share. I always think it's a privilege when anyone asks me to share my story, whether it be like my personal life, my health story, or my Plexus business story now. And I think so often that we can look at things that have happened in our life and think, gosh, why me? Like, why am I having to go through this? I've done everything right. Why is this happening to me? But then I think when you can step back and kind of switch your mindset and say, why not me? Because God never said it was going to be easy. In fact, he said quite the opposite, that it was going to be hard, that there were going to be valleys, that there were going to be trials that we're going to go through. And it's not like he's sitting up there going, I told you, let's see how you can handle this. No, what he wants us to do is use those stories to minister to people that maybe we never thought we'd be in a circle with. We've got to share our story. If it's, like I said, whether it's your personal, your health, your business story, share your story, because even though you may think that it's small and that it's not that big of a deal, I guarantee you that there's somebody out there that can relate to it. Even though it's a story that's unique to you, they can relate to it. So don't be afraid to share your story. So that being said, I'm hoping that by sharing mine, somebody will feel hope and inspired to keep going on. Emily, scrolling through those messages, it like brought up so many different memories. And I remember, I think Emily approached me like early on in her business, right out of the gate for her. And I told her no. And I told her, actually, she approached me about the products and the business. She told me why. One of the first. Wow. She told me why she thought I would be good at this. And even though I believed her because I trusted her and she was a dear friend of mine, I didn't want to have anything to do with the business. And I also told her I didn't want anything to do with the products because I had tried it before and it didn't work for me. How many of us have heard that before? Tried it before, it didn't work for me. Whereas really the truth is that I had tried it for, I bought a bag of Slim, 30-day bag of Slim, and I stretched it out over about 48 days. So I wasn't consistent. I didn't have anybody helping me. There was nobody in my corner telling me what to do. I probably wasn't drinking my water, and my body needed a lot more than just the Slim. Slim's great, but it needed more. So I told her no. And the reason why I finally told her yes after a year, and in that year, she did not bug me. She did not bother me. We remain friends. There were messages that had nothing to do with plexus in and out of there. But at the age of 40, after having my fourth child and realizing that I was at best a mediocre mom and wife because I had zero to give, I had taken care of myself. I mean, I completely put myself on the back burner. I had not taken care of myself at all. And I was pouring from a very empty cup for years. I knew that, or I thought that this would give me the energy that I needed. So I told her yes. And I remember panicking right after I finally told her yes. And I went back and said, wait, you signed me up as an ambassador. I don't want to share. Like, I don't want to do this business. And she said, no, don't worry about it. You don't have to do that. This is because it's the cheapest cost. She knew I was cheap. And I said, okay, that's it. And y'all, I was like the worst ambassador ever that whole year. I think I definitely turned my sub off, on and off several times. There were several times that I ordered just a bag of Slim, and that was well before we got points for, partial PVers. And through it all, Emily loved me and never pressured me to do more than what I wanted to do. And I remember in September of that year, she had hit Emerald, and I remember God telling me, you know what, Carrie, maybe this is something you need to look at. Maybe this is something you need to push your pride aside and take a deep look at. Maybe you could be the one to change things for your family. Because for years, and at that time, my husband and I had been married maybe 9 years or so, I had prayed for a better opportunity for him that would allow us to stay here in Northwest Arkansas, not leave our family, not leave the area that we loved. And I prayed for that for 9 years. And I heard God saying, maybe you could be the one to change things for your family. And I thought, well, that's funny because I'm not going to do that. And I remember talking to Emily and saying, okay, maybe I want to do this. Maybe this is something I need to look into. And she was an open book, you guys, so much so that she actually allowed me to look at screenshots of her weekly and monthly income. And that built belief in me in seeing, because I knew where she had come from. And I thought, okay, well, she's telling me I can do this. She's done it. Maybe I really can. But I'll be honest, that was in September of 2018. And I was not all in. I had one foot in the water and one foot on land, ready to take off. If anybody said anything negative to me, hurtful to me, it wasn't working, I was out. And I think I made 2 posts. I know I made 2 posts because hitting send or, submit on that post was like, it made me want to throw up. And I know that I wasn't as coachable as I needed to be at that time. And honestly, looking back, you guys, I think I maybe didn't stop to pray about it and think about it long enough. God said, maybe this is for you. I tried a little bit. It wasn't my time just yet. But 2 months later, and right after Thanksgiving of that year, I felt God saying, look, I gave you this opportunity and you are doing nothing with it. You're not stewarding it well. I've given you this. This is your answer to prayer. Now you got to do something about it. So I went all in. And I remembered Emily asking me, do you have a back door? And I said, no, I do not have a back door. I'll do anything you want, anything you tell me to do, that's what I'll do. So she had an event for me. I signed up my first ambassador, who is one of my best friends, and bless her heart, has ordered every single month since that day. She's one of my biggest supporters. And Emily said, okay, what's your goal? When do you want to hit silver? I said, I'd like to be silver by the end of the year. This was like the very last day of November. I said, I'd like to be silver by the end of the year, by Christmas. And I did. I hit silver on the 28th of December. I ended up signing 3 people that day. And I remember thinking, okay, I got this. Like, this is happening. We're doing this. And I continued to do it, like everything that she told me to do, including training yourself. If you're not training yourself on a regular daily basis, you are missing out. And I used to think that meant me sitting down just like I am now with a notebook, pen and paper, taking notes. And while that's all great and good, most of us don't have time to do that. So I started implementing just popping those earbuds in when I was doing the dishes, cooking dinner, cleaning the house, whatever mundane task I had to do that day, I was going to listen to a podcast. So that has helped me in a huge way. But going back, I remember continuing to do all the things, but I could not move that needle forward. I stayed just right there. Never could move it forward. I had a few people come and go that said, hey, I want to do the business, or I'm interested in the business, but they never really did anything with it. And it wasn't until, now this was 2019 at this point, beginning of 2019, trying to move that needle forward. And it wasn't until the very end of 2019 that I had a runner come on board. Now, I had prayed about it. I had asked God for someone to come on board with me, someone that wanted this as much as I did, and it just wasn't happening. Looking back, can I say there were things that I could have done differently? Maybe, yes. But really, it goes back to just like what it was for me. It wasn't the right time for me, that it wasn't the right time for them either. And this person came on board at the very end of December. I think I signed her on New Year's Eve, and she hit the ground running. And a few weeks later, I was gold. And it wasn't, but a few months after that, April came, and this was April of 2020. And this runner of mine, we were having a blast. Like this was fun. Like suddenly this business was the fun side that I had heard all about and never really experienced on my own. We were having fun. It was like, the sky's the limit. Look at this potential. She saw it. I saw it. We were doing this together. April rolls around. I knew that Emily was pushing for Sapphire. I was projected to end around 150 points. I was very happy with that, because remember, I'd struggled for a year just to get to 100 points. So 150, I was like, I'm all in. We had 4 days left in the month. So whatever day that was, April 26th, I guess. 4 days left in the month. And my power partner came to me and said, I think we're supposed to go for senior gold. And I said, well, I'm projected it in at 150 and I'm pushing for 200. And I'm really doing that to help out Emily. Like I don't have a goal that I can reach. It's not attainable for me to get to senior gold in 4 days. That's ridiculous. I still laugh at it, thinking about it now. And she said, I really think we're supposed to do this. Like what's the harm in trying? And so, first of all, if you don't have a power partner, a good power partner that will push you to do things that she sees possible, get you one, because it's a game changer completely. Because even in those months leading up to that, we had been power partners for about, I'd say 6 to 8 months at that point. Even on the days when I knew I didn't have a back door and I wasn't going to quit, I wasn't going to quit on her either. Like it's easy to quit on yourself. It's a lot harder to quit on somebody else. So get a power partner that will push you to do the hard things. So we did it. And believe it or not, I ended that month at 274, well beyond senior gold. And there was so much excitement. And let me just say though, I still only had one level 1 runner. She had a couple of people under her that had added a few. They weren't interested in the business, but they had added people. So I thought, okay, I remember telling Shelby, my power partner, okay, I think that I'm finally getting to that point where I'm not going to be the one sitting here watching everybody rank up, but I'm actually going to be on that side of the fence. This is exciting. And my runner was seeing the vision. She was excited. There was just a lot of excitement that ended that month. So anyway, April ends. I'm senior gold. I'm excited. A couple of months go by. I re-rank senior gold. I'm adding people. My runner has gone quiet and silent on me. And I'm wondering, something's going on. I remember telling Emily, something's going on. I don't know what it is, but something's not right. The excitement is just, it's gone. And at the end of June, that runner came to me and said, I think I'm done. And my thought was, well, you just started. Like, you can't be done. You just started. She said, I think I'm done. And I won't go into the reasonings, but it doesn't matter. She was done. And I felt like I had done something wrong. Like there had to have been something that I did that made her lose the excitement she had just 2 months before that? Like, was it my leadership? Was it something I said, something I did, something I didn't do? And after talking to Emily, and I've seen this so many times since, you cannot put the success of someone else solely on your shoulders. Yes, we have to be there to help them, to coach them, to show them the ropes. They're not going to know what to do when they walk in the door. I didn't. Emily didn't. We had people coaching us along the way. So we have to do that for them. But at a certain point, their success is up to them. You've shown them what to do. You've shown them how to do it. They have to do it, and they have to want it bad enough. And if they don't want it, and if they're not willing to do the work, it's not on you. So I left that conversation with her thinking, oh my gosh, I'm starting all over again, all over again. And that summer, that was last summer. Gosh, that seems like a lifetime ago. Last summer, I had my best summer personally. I decided that I was going to be my own rock star. I was going to make this happen. I knew that hitting that next level, I could not do on my own. Like, I wasn't going to be able to jump from senior gold to ruby on my own, but I was going to do everything I could to try and get there. And I had, like I said, some of my best months. I added 6, I added 9, I added 6. I mean, I was rolling. I continued, retention happened, but I continued to rank senior gold, re-rank senior gold. And I'm not one to pat myself on the back, but I was pretty proud of myself, because that was not, re-ranking is not something to scoff at. If you guys are in a place where you feel like you're stagnant, if you're re-ranking, that's huge. So give yourself a pat on the back. I remember that fall and winter of last year feeling so long. I tried everything to motivate my team. And when I say team, I mean just people that were happy product takers. I had a couple of people that were working the business. It's not like I had no one, but no one that wanted to just run with it like I did. No one that saw that vision of, this really is the sky's the limits. So let's go for it. I tried everything, you guys. I remember talking to Emily, and she'd give me this idea and that idea, and nothing really worked. But I want to say, just because you try something and it doesn't work once does not mean it won't work again. Okay. It just means the right people weren't in your system at that time. So since then, I have tried those things, and they have worked. They have worked for my team, my current team. But that fall and that winter were very long. I remember watching people that had come in long after me go way past me. And it's very easy to compare yourself and think, what are they doing right that I'm doing wrong? Just don't waste your time on doing that. It's just not worth it. It will only put you in a negative mindset. And once you're in that mindset, it's hard to pull yourself out. So just put your blinders on and know that your story is going to look very different than the story of the person beside you and the person beside them. And as long as you don't quit and you continue to do the things that you need to do daily, follow-ups, reach outs, training, showing up to team calls, showing up to trainings, then your needle will move forward. It may be slower than you wanted it to, but it will move forward without a doubt. So all that to say, I remember in December of 2020, just a few months ago, really, I revisited my why, because my why had changed. Just like they say that it will evolve, and I really didn't get that. It was evolving. I was in a place where some of my why had already come to fruition, and I needed to look deeper. And I really felt God telling me that, well, let me just say really quick. I grew up with parents who were very giving. They were the first in line to help when someone was in need. They were bringing meals, they were bringing snacks to the hospital, they were, offering a vehicle, they were offering free babysitting, whatever it was. Because when I was young, we didn't have the finances to give in that form as far as monetary donations, but my parents were going to be there to help out. And I just felt very strongly that God was saying, you need to do more of that. But I felt like it was in a, that monetary way. I I would like to say, I would hope people would say that I am there to help when someone is in need, but we weren't in a place where I could give above and beyond what we were giving. And when God was telling me, this is what your why is going to look like moving forward, I thought, okay, but how? Like, we're not in a place where I can totally do that, because my Plexus income was nice, but it had also replaced a job that I had lost, two jobs that I had lost. So it wasn't like we were a step ahead. So, anyway, I trusted God that if He was telling me that this is what my why was going to look like, that He was going to provide for it. So I didn't need to worry about it. And there was a power half hour that my power partner and I led at the very end of December. Things happen for me at the very end of December. I've seen that as a pattern. But at the very end of December, we were leading this power half hour, and I was voice messaging. I love to voice message. And I looked at my list of 100, and I would suggest that you keep a list of 100, revisit it every quarter, revamp it when it needs to be. But I had this list, and I was looking at this name that was starred, and I believe she's on here. I haven't scrolled through, but Rachel Allen. And I don't know why I had never reached out to her before. She was not someone that I had worried about. What is she going to think? Oh my gosh. I knew she knew my heart. We had known each other a long time. And so I voice messaged her right away before I could overthink it. So don't overthink it. If God's telling you you need to reach out to this person, just do it. So anyway, I reached out to her, and she messaged me right back. And I remember texting Shelby going, oh my gosh, she's already messaging me back. Oh my gosh. And from there, in the next few days, she signed up. She started running her business, and things just started happening for our team. On other sides, there were other people that joined me. Heather's on here. She joined me. She joined me to support me for my business. And then a couple of months in said, hey, maybe I need to look at this as my own business. And I just remember thinking, okay, God, you are showing up. Like, you told me that you were going to do this, and you did it. And when March hit, I felt very strongly that this was going to be the month that I was going to hit Ruby. And we did it. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun that month. We had lots of fun incentives and things that motivated them. And then last month we hit Senior Ruby. And I look back and I think, I remember Emily and Tamara and so many people that I've listened to on trainings before saying it's like a snowball. You push it up the hill, you push it up the hill, and then suddenly it starts to go down the hill. I'm not going down the hill yet, I wouldn't say, but we're right there at the top and we're starting to go down. And looking back, it was not easy to get to that point. It was really hard. I mean, it was really hard to have people walk away from you and say they don't want to do this. But the one thing that I can say that I did consistently was I just didn't stop. It's really as simple as that. I didn't stop. I didn't stop doing what I needed to do to grow my own business. And knowing that it was all in people's timing was helpful as well. I would say don't give up on your people. The people that you have currently in your back office could be your next business builder. You just never know. So don't give up on them. And then reaching out about the business is super important. That's one thing that I will say that I can look back on that first year of struggling to get to gold, was that I didn't necessarily reach out about the business. I didn't post about the business. And that has completely changed for me now. 99% of my messages are business reach outs. And I have way more posts ready to post about the business than I do the products, because I'm excited about it, because I know what it's done for me. I know what it's done for my teammates and the people on Emily's team. So knowing what it can do for others should excite you to reach out about it. Don't hold back on people because you think they might not want it. That's not your decision to make. We have to give them that option.
Yeah. Carrie, I love her story so much. And I hope that you guys heard her say, because I was in this with her when she was really battling with, maybe it's me. I just don't know how to duplicate. Like, I don't know how to do this. And like seeing other people excel. But like she said, she didn't give up. And the thing that I love so much about Carrie, but the thing that I love about her and her story is that while she was in a season of a valley with her business, she was not sitting in that victimhood. She felt sad, she felt confused, but she was leaning into her trainings. She was going and listening to trainings, and she was implementing and putting them into action. She was connecting with people. Like she said, she had her power partner, but it wasn't just this big like, woe is me. It was, okay, this is tough. This is what I'm doing today to move my needle forward, and not waiting for people to come and do it with her. She continued to grow her level 1 base. She continued to grow her skills, her confidence. So, so beautiful. And so I just hope that you guys hear what she was saying about how she was not a consistent wholesale ambassador. She did not want the business. She did a post or two at the beginning and then didn't do anything for a few months. But the thing with Carrie is when she caught the vision and when she made the decision that she was doing this, like she said, she no longer had a back door. She has not stopped since the day she said, okay, I am for real doing this. And I love Carrie's story of, she is not somebody that is like sprinting really fast. She is consistent and she is steady. And that is where I see so much growth. When you see people who are flying to the top, and I've shared this with you guys in the past, I get a little bit nervous when people are adding 15, 20 level 1s in their first month or two, because when that happens really fast, there is going to be a lull in the business. And if you are going really, really fast, you've not had that time to kind of like get prepared and know what you're doing and doing the troubleshooting and have that belief and have no back door. So if you're in a state of like, this is going much slower than I thought it would be okay with that. Grow in your training and do like Carrie. Don't stop. Have no back door and just continue to grow in those skills. Carrie, thank you so much for sharing. I love you. And I know that this is all our team. I sent a message to Jen Leith and I said, it's just my team. Is this normal? I hope I have the right link. So anyways, you guys know how to get in touch with Carrie. If you guys have any questions, I know that she's doing a separate little job right now, so she might have to hop off. But Carrie, thank you so much. If you guys do have questions, please send them over to Carrie. Carrie, I love you very much. So we're going to transition into about 30 minutes of a power hour. Hope you can stay on to get some work done. If you need to get off, that's totally fine as well. But we're going to focus on 3 things today. We're going to focus on customer appreciation, going off of Carrie's story. I'm excited to go through customer appreciation with you. We're going to focus on birthdays and engagement. And then last, we're going to follow up with some categories. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to screen share with you guys. I'm sure you guys all know how to do this, but I did this about a year ago. And Liz Schmidt, who, she's an Emerald, she's like, oh my gosh, I had no idea about that. Thank you for sharing. So what I'm going to show you guys is I want you guys to go, you don't have to do it right now, but you're going to do this in a minute. I want you guys to go to your dashboard. You're going to click points and rank. And then you're going to scroll down. And what we have now is a level 1 tab, which is new. And I absolutely love this tab. What you're going to do is you're going to go over here to where it says join date. You're going to click that once. What that does is that sorts it by the earliest date that somebody joined, and it sorts it all the way down to the most recent date. So what you're going to see here, and I hope that this is inspiring to you guys. Let me try to move this thing. I hope this is inspiring to you guys, because I know that Brooke Hemingway, she shared her story, or she shared her back office in a training a few years ago, and it was very encouraging to see like the queen of retention still had people who were not ordering. But what I want us to do right now is I want us to sort by the join date with the people that you signed at the very beginning. That goes all the way down to the newest sign in your level 1. And what I want us to do is I want to go and just take a look at who is still ordering. And so I'm going to send a message to Maddie right here. I'm going to send her a message. of appreciation. And I'll put in the chat some message examples, but I think that we can go a few routes here. Does everybody have that? I'm going to stop sharing, but I'm going to, I want you guys to go through in a minute to take a look at your people. But what I want us to do is I want us to take advantage of that group of people who are still ordering the products, showing them appreciation. So again, I'll put in the chat an example of a message that I came up with that I'm probably going to use roundabout. Also, for maybe the people that you really have belief in, which we have belief in everybody, right? But like if there are people that are like a Carrie Compton that you just really see, like this person could do amazing here, but maybe they haven't ordered in a long time. You have Hydrate, you have Hunger Control Slim or XOS Slim, you have the kids microbiome drink. Like we have quite a few samples that we can send out. So let's say Holly, let's say she's my level 1 who hasn't ordered in a long time, but I really have strong belief in her. I'm going to send Holly a message and I'm just going to say something along the lines. This is just totally off the cuff, but something like, hey, Holly, I was thinking about you and Sweet Ruby this morning. I love you so much. And I was thinking about, you know, when you came to me a few years ago about Plexus and you're wanting some help with X, Y, and Z. I know that you were on the products for a little bit and for some reason, like you got off. I don't know if I like this idea. I don't know. This may be too long, but you know, I know for some reason you for some reason you were not able to continue with the products. I was just thinking about you as I was mixing my Slim, and I realized that you had not tried this other Slim. And I would love to send you like a little goodie bag for you and Ruby and your husband, just to see if this is something that you want to try out again. I don't actually love that. Let me, that's not a great one. That's too long. But I'm wanting us to be able to like re-engage and gift people, right? So like, let me send you guys in the chat what I've already created for like a customer appreciation, and then I will create something of a way to like send out a sample to somebody that's not ordered in a long time, that's not salesy, that's like just as a gift, like thinking of you. That one was not good, so don't go with that. So everybody go to your dashboard, your points and rank, and go sort by join date. Now, if you don't really have many people that have joined you, which I know everybody here has people that have joined. So if you have everybody in there that's ordering still, you can still send them a sample, or you can still send them an appreciation message. So let's focus on that. I will put in the thread, in the chat, a couple of examples of customer appreciation samples, stuff like that for our customers. If you have questions, let me know. That was very choppy. I'm so sorry. I could never be a teacher.
You could totally be a teacher. And that message was definitely, it sounded okay on this end. I didn't feel like I was being sold to.
You didn't? Okay, I felt like I was. Okay, well, I'll get you a good one. And then I'm going to put in the chat here a message that I sent to Carrie about the business. And again, like her story, she knew from day one that I wanted her on my team and that I believed in her and that I thought she'd be amazing with the business. And I think it was a culmination of her timing, her why changing, not loving her job, wanting to get her husband out of a job that he didn't necessarily love, having that freedom, that financial freedom, but also seeing that I was sharing in my story, like sharing on my Facebook stories of financial blessing. Because you guys, I think so often people just assume people make like 25, $50 doing network marketing, which I know that there are some people that may only be making $100, but $100 extra is a really big deal. Like that's a big deal. So I'm going to share that with you guys here. If you're new and you're like, I don't really know how to share about the business. I remember when I first started, Tamara would tell me like, share why you're doing this. Like you don't have a story yet. You don't have any financial, you haven't seen anything in your bank yet, but you can still share about the opportunity. And so sharing why you're choosing to do this, sharing like if you were able to take Ruby to Chick-fil-A and that was because of your weekly bonus check that you got. So you were able to pay for that with your Plexus check, going to the grocery store and taking a picture of your grocery cart saying, you know, like, thank you to Plexus. I was able to buy groceries for my family for the next 2 weeks. Things like that, like getting creative, but showing like this is a real deal. For me, I needed to know that Tamara actually was making good money. And I remember seeing a post that she had, and it was her holding a pink drink, a sleeve of the pink drink in front of her home. And it said something like, very simple, but something like, because of this little pink drink, we were able to buy or build our dream home in our dream neighborhood. That's all it was. And so it just like gave affirmation that this was a legit lucrative business. And if I wanted it, I'd have to work hard. I just put this in our Gold Diggers thread. But John Maxwell, he says, success demands more than most people are willing to offer, but not more than they are capable of giving. The thing that often makes the difference is good leadership. So listen to that again. Most people are not willing to give to get to a successful place, but it's not that they're not capable. They're just not willing. And so running the course, not having a back door. I remember when my daughters were really young and I felt very overwhelmed because I didn't know how to do all of the things, being an intentional mother, being an intentional wife, growing a business. And I remember Tamara just saying, communicate with your husband. Ask him to give you like a night or two or a morning where he's watching your daughters, or, you know, he's taking the girls out to Chick-fil-A so you can have concentrated time to work. You truly can get this work done in a short amount of time, but it's got to be concentrated. It's got to be focused. It can't be like the dilly-dallying. Let's go ahead, and we only have a few minutes left. Let's go ahead and transition into like our birthdays and engagement. I think that's really important. But I'm going to share with you guys, and I know you are on my team, so you probably are aware of this too, but just as a reminder for your follow-ups, we didn't get to this today, but I have right here a huge whiteboard that just has different categories. And it's got different names of people that I have communicated with that would fall into those categories. So if I see, and I'll tell you what those categories are in a minute, but if I see a story, a testimonial come up about thyroids, like thyroid disorder or hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's or something, I have a category for my thyroid disorder people. So if I see a really good testimonial, then I can go to that category and I can send all of those people a message. Hey, Rach, I just saw this incredible story of a woman that has something similar to you with her thyroid issue. Would you be open to me sending it to you? something like that. So that's just a simple, quick follow-up, but that's showing Rachel that I have not forgotten about her and what she shared with me about how she has a Hashimoto's disorder, or however you say that, I don't really know. But then that just is another point of contact, another way to drip that belief of how these products are helping a lot of people. So that is something for you guys as you're continuing with your messaging, is to maybe have a category list. So I'll just tell you really quick what I have. You guys can jot this down if you want to. You can add other categories to it, obviously. But these are kind of some of the most common things that I hear when I talk to people. A thyroid autoimmune disorder, weight loss is a big one, anxiety, depression, digestive issues, energy, headaches, sleep, allergies, skin issues. This is a lot. I can type it out for you guys in Gold Diggers if you'd like me to. Soda addiction, pain, inflammation, sugar cravings. I also have dream teamers, just so that way if I see like a really good story of somebody who, you know, Megan Milakovic, who has paid off $100,000 in debt, I'm going to send that to some of my dream teamers who maybe whose husband went to medical school, or who's in, like, they went to dental school and they have a ton of debt. Like, I'm going to make sure that I'm paying attention and sending out messages and training or testimonials like that to my dream teamers too. Lauren, you said, is that a list of people who have given testimonies or people who have those problems? So that's people that I'm talking to that I know Lauren is struggling with allergies, because she shared with me she's struggling with allergies, but that conversation's kind of gone dry. I don't really know how to follow up with her. Oh my gosh, I just saw this really great testimonial on allergies. I'm going to go send her, I'm going to ask her if she'd be okay with me sending it her way. So I think that's a really strong way to kind of keep up with the people that you've talked to. And it makes it a lot easier when you are doing the follow-up, because the follow-up is so important. Yes, the initial reach out is really important to get that conversation starting, but that follow-up shows your people that they are a priority to you and that you really care about them and you're thinking about them. So let's end these last 5 minutes doing birthdays. And then if you have time later today, I encourage you to put together a list of categories and start filling that out. Oh, and one more little tip for you on that is that you can go into Messenger and you can type in the search bar up at the top of Messenger, you can type that keyword. You can type Hashimoto's, you can type migraines, you can type weight as a keyword, and then it's going to pull up every message that has that word in there. So if you've forgotten, oh gosh, I forgot that I messaged Heather about this last year. I forgot that Heather shared with me last year that she's really struggling with her sleep. Then that's going to be somebody that I'm going to put on my list for my sleep category. So let's go ahead and do birthdays. And oh, hold on a second. I just want to make sure I'm seeing this. Sorry, my scroll thing is not working very well. Whoever said that, can you just, was that?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay.
I said, can you tell me more about birthdays, please? What are you doing specifically? I did birthday reach outs a few times and just had a sentence or two to say because I felt silly. I don't know a lot of people on my friends list anymore and I don't know what to say.
Yeah, so that's normal. There are a lot of people I don't know. So if I don't know these people, I'll just send them a separate message, a private message, and I'll say, hey, Lauren, I hope that you have a wonderful birthday today. I hope you feel very loved and very cherished and very celebrated. If it's somebody that and I might just leave it at that. If it's somebody that maybe like I had connections with years ago, I might end a question like, hey, are you still living in Northwest Arkansas? Or are you still, practicing law or whatever? I might end it with a question, but that's kind of my default of, hey, Lauren, happy birthday. I hope that you have a wonderful day where you feel very loved, celebrated, and cherished.
So relationship building, just caring.
It's nothing plexus, plexus. It is just loving on people, celebrating them. If it's somebody that I really care about, that's maybe a dream teamer, I might send them a Marco Polo, even if it's been like 10 years since we talked, like, hey, I just saw it was your birthday. I love you so much. And then telling her or him probably her, what you care about them. Voice messages are also really important because, you know, birthdays, that's a great way to really like make people feel seen and heard and loved. It has nothing to do with plexus. So we'll do that for the next 2 minutes. Actually, we'll go ahead and end this now because it's been an hour, but feel free to move forward to do your birthdays. And then I would encourage you to do the categories, and I will put those categories in Goal Diggers so that way you guys can have them listed out.
I just sent them to Gold Diggers.
Oh, thanks, Hall. You're awesome. Okay. Ruby, you take care of your mama. Sweet girl. Okay. Thank you guys for being on. I love you all. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.